Good morning, שפע ברכה והצלחה, שיעור לנשמתם של הקדושים והטהורים. We finished Sefer Bamidbar, we're starting Sefer Devarim. Sefer Devarim is also called Mishneh Torah, like it's a different section of the 5 Chumashim, and there are a lot of discussion about it. Says Ele HaDvarim, says there is no Vav, there is no connection to what was happening before. Says Ele HaDvarim asher diber Moshe. So what our Chaim HaKadosh explained, Ele HaDvarim asher diber Moshe, those the things that written in this book, they are the things that Moshe Rabbeinu talked by himself to Am Yisrael. And this is very hard to understand. How can it be that Moshe Rabbeinu is writing a book of Devarim and not God? We all know what Chazal say in the Gemara, that if somebody says one letter, one signal in the Torah is not from God, is a kofar. Is going against God. What does it mean? So how can it be that Ele HaDvarim, this book is written by Moshe Rabbeinu? One of the explanations that I can understand and go with it is that the explanation is that Moshe Rabbeinu got to a level, the highest level that a human being can come to be close to God. It says, with the story with Miriam and Aaron, when Miriam talked on Moshe Rabbeinu, what is he doing, and she got leprosy, and Moshe Rabbeinu prayed for her, but God appears to them and says, how dare you speak on Moshe Rabbeinu? Who are you to speak on Moshe Rabbeinu? Pel pe adaber bo. Mouth to mouth, I'm talking with him. I'm talking through him. In other words, says, the idea is that Moshe Rabbeinu got to a level that God was speaking through him. So what is written in Devarim is not what Moshe Rabbeinu is talking. It's Moshe Rabbeinu writing it, but Moshe Rabbeinu is saying and writing the things that God is talking through him. Ele HaDvarim asher diber Moshe. The lesson is that each one of us can get to a very high level, a level that get close to God, and this is what we have to think for, wish for. Always wish for greatness, because you know, the higher you wish, the higher you get. So your wishes, your desire has to be up high. So you have to desire the level of Moshe Rabbeinu, and this is the way to get closer to God. And we all know that our sages, when they talk Torah. That's the idea. Ele HaDvarim asher diber Moshe. Moshe Rabbeinu, he's not talking just nonsense. Whatever he talks is Torah, is something to learn from. Ele HaDvarim asher diber Moshe. Then we see that Moshe Rabbeinu is rebuking Am Yisrael, and he's talking about what they did. It starts with clues. He's not telling it exactly what. For example, di zahav, the gold is like reminding, and this is a clue about the golden calf, the sin, and so on. It goes with all the other sins, and then it gets to a rebuke that is right in front, very clear. For example, with the Meraglim that we see in our parashat, it's also a story by itself. But let's understand the idea of rebuke. What is behind the idea? The idea is very simple. When we see something wrong, we have to try and fix it. And if our friend or somebody is doing something wrong, we have to try and help him go back to the right way. And helping in the right way is what we say, rebuking him, but we have to know how to do it. We have to do it in a clever way, in a nice way. We say, our sages say in Pergal, Ochach lechacham ve'yavecha, al tochach le'etz benisnaecha. You rebuke a clever guy, a wise guy, a chacham, and he's going to love you. But if you rebuke a clown, he's going to hate you. The meaning is, when you come to rebuke somebody, don't talk to him from up in heaven down to who is he and abuse him or laugh at him, because this way your rebuke is not going to work. He's going to hate you. Isnaecha. Al tochach letz ve'isnaecha. Don't make him a clown, but ochach lechacham ve'yaveka. Make him clever. Make him good. By the way, that's the best way of education also to kids. If you want to tell your kids, you educate them and tell them what to do, what not to do, what they did wrong, you don't come and say, you naughty, you are bad. No, that's not the right way. The right way is, why, you're such a good boy. You're such a clever boy. You have to see this and that. That's ochach lechacham ve'yaveka. You come to somebody, you talk with him from the good point. You tell him how good he is, and then you put in what you want to tell him that he did wrong in a nice way, approaching him as he is a clever guy, as he is a tzaddik, and not chas v'shalom a rasha or a stupid guy. This is the way to rebuke. This is the way to educate. Ochach l'chacham. And this is the way that Moshe Rabbeinu is talking with Am Yisrael. Because sometimes you have to, a clue is enough, and you understand what's wrong. But sometimes you have to be very clear about it. So also here you have, but it all has to come from love. Rebuke, they say, is mitzvah ben adam lechavero. This is a mitzvah between us and our fellow man. Not a mitzvah between us and God, which, by the way, it's the same, but to make it clear, it's mitzvah ben adam lechavero. It's mitzvah ve'ahavta le'racha kamocha. You rebuke because you love and you want to fix things that will come back to normal. There is a famous story about a Rav, I don't remember the name of the Rav, and one day he used to go every evening to have a walk for health, and one day he's taking his maskir, the guy that's with him, he takes him to walk with him, and suddenly he decides to go into the house of the, he's also a Jewish guy, the manager of the bank. And they knock at the door, and this manager of the bank was not exactly one of the congregation that used to come to shul frequently. Here and there on Yom Tov he used to come, but otherwise it wasn't very religious. Let's put it in a nice way. Anyway, he sees the Rav coming to him. He doesn't believe the Rav is coming to me. So of course he honors the Rav. It's the Rav of the town, it's the Rav of the city, the Rav of the state, or whatever it was. So he gets in, he sits on the sofa, and the guy, the rich guy, the manager of the bank, is waiting for the Rebbe to talk with him. He came to him, well, what does he want? And he's saying nothing. He's sitting quietly. So he doesn't, what should I do? The shamash from the Rav also doesn't know what's going on here. Anyway, after sitting for 15 minutes, he gets up, thank you, and he goes out. Of course, to honor the Rebbe, the rich guy goes with the Rebbe, the Gvir goes with the Rebbe and escorts him to his house. And the whole way, the Rebbe is saying nothing. This guy is getting crazy. What's going on here? Eventually, they get to the house of the Rabbi, and he cannot stand it anymore. He says, Rabbi, please tell me, why did you come to me? You say nothing. He says, no, I can't. Please, I want to know. He says, there is a thing, there is a mitzvah to say something that people will listen to it. So there is also a mitzvah not to say something that people won't listen to it. So if I sit in my house and you sit in your house, how can I do the mitzvah and not telling you what you won't hear? This guy was getting crazy. What do you mean? Why shouldn't I hear? Why didn't you try? Maybe maybe I'll hear. Says you won't do anything. You won't act. It's a waste of time, and that's why I came. I just wanted to make a point. He says, no, Rebbe, please tell me what's wrong. What is behind this? So the Rebbe says, you know what? Okay, I'll tell you, and you will see. There is a woman, a widow, and she lost her husband. And she's got no parnasa, and she hasn't got the money to pay the mortgage on her house, and the bank said that if she doesn't pay in a few days the mortgage, the bank is going to take the house and send her out to the street. So the manager of the bank says, we do respect, you know, I'm only the manager of the bank. I'm not the owner of the bank. I cannot just cancel a mortgage. I cannot just pay, let it go. It's not. The Rabbi says, you see, I told you that you won't do anything, that there is a waste of time, and that's why I came and didn't say anything to make this clear. כשם שמצווה לעשות דבר שנשמע, כך מצווה לומר לא לומר דבר שלא נשמע. There is a mitzvah to say what people will hear, like a good rebuke that's going to affect the people. So there is a mitzvah not to say things that's not going to have influence, and sometimes even who knows what. Now the guy goes back home, and all the way he thinks about what the Rebbe says, and it's getting into his heart. Wow. The next day, he takes from his own money and pays the mortgage of this woman. and Baruch Hashem, she was saved. So here you see, this rabbi, he was very clever. He knew how to get to the heart of this guy, this gvir, this rich guy, in a way that normally, if he would have come there and says, can you please help her and do this and that? Of course, it won't help. So what he did something unbelievable. And this is the way. Ele Advarim, says Or HaChaim HaKadosh, another interesting thing about Ele Advarim. Those are the things. This book is a Mishneh Torah. This book is like the book that some of the things we already heard before, some of the things are new. But the idea behind it is, this is the book that with this we go into Eretz Israel. To win Eretz Israel, to sit here properly and do the things that are going to have us here and bring the Geula, B'mira b'Yeminu Amen. This is Sefer Devarim. It's all concentrated here in Sefer Devarim, how to act here in Eretz Israel. And Or HaChaim HaKadosh says something very interesting among all the others' explanation, and he says that this is Avodat HaMidot. This is working on our Midot. And he says, for example, when you talk about Dizav that we mentioned before, that is a rebuke to tell about the golden calf, it says Dizav is Dai Zahav. Say enough to the gold. Now go away from the gold. Be happy with what you've got. And so it's going about its humbleness and being. What is Chatzerot with Dizav? What is Chatzerot? Yards, Chatzerot Hashem. The yards of Hashem, Chatzerot Hashem, synagogue, shuls, Bes Midrash, to sit and learn. And so he goes on and tells us all the things, like the Midbar. What's the Midbar? The desert is humbleness, like in the desert. If we work on those things and we win and do the right thing in the eyes of God and work on our, let's say, desires about our midot, and this is the way to go into Eretz Israel. This is the way to connect to Israel. This is the way to win the war. If we will stop going with this ego trip that each one of us got, like, I am the right one, and thinking about what I can get out of it, or what, like, instead of thinking about myself, think about the others. Instead of spread hatred, which we see, and we talk about it so much, because unfortunately, we're not learning. We're going on with this hatred. It sees, this morning I was talking about the Mazal, of Chodesh Av is a lion, Aryeh. And the Milkut Shimoni, I think the Milkut Shimoni gives a few names to the lion. Has got a few names, but the idea is in Shulchan Aruch is written that you have to be strong and 1 minute. Yitgaber Karei, should get strong as a lion to worship God. Sheyehu Morer HaShachar, that you will wake up the morning. And it's funny because the lion in nature, he sleeps a lot. He's not exactly the one who wakes up very early in the morning. So what is it? But the lion's got something else. And this is what we have to learn. The lion, by the way, is more than 160 times mentioned in the Bible. It's the Shevet Yehuda called lion. Am Yisrael sometimes called a lion. Lion is the king of the animals. It's a king. But what he's got is something he sleeps late. But if something happens around him, if he feels danger, or if he sees something to eat, he wakes up in a minute and he's strong and he is in action. Says, this is what we have to learn. Doesn't matter what mood you are. When you have to do something, do it like a lion. Change your mood in a minute. Get up. You're sleeping. Get up and worship God. Get up and do the mitzvah. Get up and do the good in the eyes of God. This is the idea. This is a lion. A lion also is a king. A king, he rules. Doesn't matter where he is, what he is. He looks like a king. He acts like a king. He's not being influenced by all the other cats. Like a leader shouldn't be influenced by everybody from the side. Also us, as we said about Avodat HaMidot, we shouldn't be influenced for our desires and lust and the bad inclination. We should be influenced by the good inclination. We should do the good and look at the lion and like the lion, get up and change and do the good in the eyes of God. So we see what's going around us. People are spreading hatred. People are talking against the religion. People are talking against God. And we are sleeping. Wake up like a lion. Do what you have to do. Everybody, each one of us, in his own way. First of all, on ourselves. control, be a king on your desires, on your bad inclination. And if we do this, then Eilu Advarim, those are the things that are going to get us to win the war, to win Eretz Israel, and to get the Geulah b'mehera b'yameinu. Amen.